Right. According to Gallup, about 33% of Americans polled said they frequently experience stress in their lives. Suppose you are in a class of 45 students. What's the probability that no more than 12 students in the class will say that they frequently experience stress in their lives? Well, let's look at part one first. We're going to be looking for a z-score for a sample proportion. We're going to use our sample to test the hypothesis or the idea that the population proportion is 33%. Now we're going to convert that into a proportion, 33 divided by 100. That's how we convert the percentage, and that comes out at 0.33. And that's going to be equal to P, our supposed population proportion that say they experience stress in their lives. So our sample proportion P hat is going to be 12 out of 45. So 12 divided by 45. Let's put that into the calculator. 12 over 45, and that comes out to be, the two decimal places, 0.27. Right, so we have our population proportion P, and we have P hat, right, which is 0.27. Now we need to get a z-score. So z is going to be equal to 0.27 minus 0.33 all over 0.33 times 1 minus 0.33. Right, that's under the square root there. And this bit is also under the square root. N is 45. The sample size is 45. So we're going to run that all into the calculator. Fraction key, 0.27 on top minus 0.33. Then we're going downstairs and we're going to have another fraction on top, or no, delete that actually. Fraction key, oops, I'll go back to the start now. So fraction key again, 0.27 minus 0.33, downstairs we go, and I'm going to go with the square root key, and underneath that I'm going to have a fraction, and at 0.33, open a bracket, 1 minus 0.33, close bracket, and then down we go and we stick in our sample size of 45, and we press equals. This is going to be a negative, and the two decimal places is minus 0.86. Okay, minus 0.86. Now we have to figure out the probability that no more than 12 students, so we've converted our 12 students into a z-score, if you like, right, or 12 over 45, and we want to figure out our z is our normal distribution, like so. 0 here, and we'll have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 standard deviations, and this will be minus 1. So this is where our z-score is minus 0.86, somewhere here. So we're going to use the table. Now no more than 12 means the probability of getting a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, up as far as 12. So it's this area here underneath the curve that we want to figure out, this area. And that will be equivalent to the probability of scoring no more than 12. So now I'm going to paste in the table from the exam sheet. And here it is here. And we're going to look up, we're going to try and get a probability associated with a z-score of minus 0.86. So let's zoom in here. Right. And minus 0.86, where is it now? Here's 0, I'm zooming in even more. Here's minus 0.8, right? And forget that stroke there. And there's the 0.6 to add on, minus 0.8. So where these two fellas cross over here, this is the probability of getting of that area that we outlined there in the little drawing. So it's 0.1949, right? So the probability, we'll go back to the question now. Well, let's write down the probability. The probability was 0.1949. Now, what's the probability that no more than 12 students in a class will say they frequently experience stress in their daily lives? Well, the probability equals 0.1949 to that statement there, part 1. Right? That's the answer as far as I can figure out. Part 2, if 20 students in the class said they frequently experience stress in their daily lives, would you be surprised? Explain and use statistics to support your answer. Well, 20 out of 45, roughly looking at it, like, you know, what's 20 out of 45? 20 over 45. Let's convert that into a proportion. We have 4 over 9 or 0.44. 0.44. So that would be the sample proportion in this case. So P had to be 0.44, and remember that the population, the hypothesized population proportion is 0.33. So without ever testing it, this one looks a bit high, right? So we would be surprised maybe that the class proportion who said they experience stress frequently was 0.44, because it's a good bit higher than 0.33, but we need stats to back this up. So we're going to get a z-score for this. We're going to get a z-score and compare it. So we're going to standardize our score, if you like, and compare it to the tables to see how likely or unlikely it would be. So again, it's the same formula as earlier, and with p times 1 minus p over n in here. So in this case, we have 0.44 minus 0.33 over the square root of 0.33 times 1 minus 0.33 over our sample size 45. So let's put that into the old Casio here. So we have a fraction, and on top we have 0.44 minus 0.33. Downstairs here we're going to have a square root, and inside in that we're going to have a fraction, and here we're going to have 0.33, open a bracket, 1 minus 0.33, close the bracket, and downstairs we're sticking an n there, our sample size is 45, press equals, and we get 1.57 to 2 decimal places. 1.57. Now this is our z-score. And we have to figure out like how unlikely that is, you know. And again, here is our z, or our normal distribution, z. With 0, our average in the middle, and then we've 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations out this way. All right, 1, 2, and 3, and we got a score of 1.57, which is out here. So the chance of getting this result or higher is this area here. This area is equal to the probability. Right? The area is equal to the probability. So we're going to look up, again we're going to look up the table. So I pasted in the table here from the exam sheet, and we're trying to get the probability associated with a z-score of 1.57, I believe it was. Yeah, now the question was, would you be surprised, right? Well, the z of 1.57 is associated with a probability. Here's 1.5, and here's the 0.7. We add the two of them together, and we come out with a score there of 0.9418. 0.9418. Now, this area, if you look at your tables in your exam sheet, this actually refers to the area behind, right? So this area is the one we were kind of more interested in, and that's going to be 1 minus 0.9418, right? 1 minus 0.9418, and that gives us 0.0582, right? 0.0582. So it would be very surprising. It would be very surprising to get 20 students in the class satisfying this condition, 20 out of 45. Very surprising to get 20 students or more saying what? Saying that they frequently experience stress in their daily lives. Okay? So the short answer there, you can write it out a bit better yourself, right? Is that a surprising score out of 45? It is. Yeah, and we've backed it up with statistics. It's very surprising to get 20 students or more saying they experience stress, etc. in their daily lives.